Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litsa. Let's celebrate World Granny Square Day together, the 15th of August 2025. Now, I myself have made many Granny Square projects, and I'm sure most of you have as well. In actual fact, my very first project was a Granny Square blanket. I made all different sizes, pieced them together almost like a quilt, and made this gorgeous blanket that my family has enjoyed over the last few years. And since then, there have been bags and, little cardies and, a myriad of other, projects. You yourself may have made quite a few Granny Square projects. I'm very surprised when I hear someone say they either don't like making Granny Squares, which is very, very rare, or they haven't attempted them as yet. So if this is, your very first time that you're thinking, let's make a Granny Square, I have 3 different kits here from Kmart that I purchased quite a while ago now, maybe even up to 6 months. And I thought this was a great opportunity to crack them open and celebrate World Granny Square Day, and also give you a review on these kits. Now, of course, this generally applies to our friends here in Australia, because Kmart, I think, isn't available as an option to people everywhere as a place to shop. But you know what? Here we're very lucky that we can actually get these kits ranging from like $6, $8 and $10. They are readily available in different stores even currently. Today is the 10th of August 2025. And I just thought it was a nice opportunity, to actually use them, because they've been sitting there waiting for me to open them up and do something with them. Now, I will review each and every kit as we go along. I'm going to do this like a vlog style over video over the next few days. Friday is the 15th of August, so we have about 5 days to play with, which is awesome. I will use a timer to see how long each and every project takes to make. And also along the way, I'll let you know if I've used, everything that's inside the kit, including hooks, or if I swapped it over for one of mine, for example. But we're going to go and just open one up now. So we'll start from the smallest and work our way up to the biggest. So we actually have a headband here that I'll open up with you. I haven't actually opened these up, which is wonderful. Then we have a scarf, and then we have a tote bag. So this is very exciting. Some of these might take a little bit longer than the 5 days that I've allocated, but hey, let's give it a go. Even if I get one done, we'll get a taste of what's inside. So let's open this up. It just slides off nicely. It is very well packaged, considering this was about $6. And sometimes you even get them on sale, which is even better. Now this tells you what's inside, so we'll open it up and actually have a little look. I might need my glasses in a moment. Oh wow, okay. It is very, very well presented. Like I said, even the little box is awesome. And let's see. First of all, I love the colors. Now let me get my glasses and let's have a little look inside. It tells us that we should get 8 colors of cotton thread, 1 crochet hook, a plastic needle, 4 stitch markers, and instructions. It'll be very interesting to read the instructions. So we do have, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. So we have the lilac, we have this dusty pink, and just feeling it straight up like off. It's actually very, very nice cotton. It's quite soft. Then we have this gorgeous bubblegum, almost Barbie pink. We have this lovely orange, this limey green color. It's like a sky or baby blue. Oh my gosh. Now, obviously, we're going to have to follow the instructions for which colors to put where so we don't run out, because they're not all the same weight, I don't think. Then there's this minty color and this cream. That's a nice pyramid, isn't it? Now let's pop those down. It comes with this hook, which at first glance, I think it's actually not a bad hook. It's got like an ergonomic style rubbery handle. It is quite small. So let's see what size it tells us it is. 3 millimeters. And it does come with a set of 4 stitch markers and a plastic darning needle. So that is excellent. Now, what I'm going to do, oh wow, okay, so there you go. That's the colors that we're going to do, the order of them. Because how many does it have in total? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's 6 little granny squares to make, and the ends to tie it all up. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to run away for a little bit, come back, probably mid headband, let you know how I'm going, let you know if I'm actually using this hook, because at first glance it actually looks pretty good, but in saying that, I have no idea what the hook, how the hook will behave, but it is very, very cute to start off with. I actually love the colors that they've put in there, and as I said, it actually feels like a very nice cotton. So, you know, upon opening it, I can't say that I'm thinking, oh, yuck, gross. I'm actually thinking, oh, wow, this might actually turn out to be a very nice headband. So I suggest that what you do is grab a cup of coffee. You know I have a coffee ready, as always. Maybe get a granny square project that you'd like to work on, and I will pop in and out with giving you with updates, and I will have my timer going. So this time it won't be counting backwards. It'll be like a stopwatch where I'll tally up how much time I've taken for each project. Like I said, I hope I finish at least one in the next 5 days. I've got a feeling I will, but they are tiny projects, guys, and there are a lot of color changes. So let's see how we go. Now, very, very quickly before I get started, I thought I would let you know that this gorgeous granny square hexi-cardi, which I think is perfect for this project to wear it, and it is such a cold day here in Sydney, Australia. It's just perfect. It's around 10:30 a.m. and I thought I'd best get started. But in relation to this gorgeous granny square hexi-cardi, if you'd like one for yourself and, you know, you don't have the time to make it, or you're just thinking, you know, you're overwhelmed by the idea of it, don't you worry, because our friend Thea has you covered. She's actually got an Etsy store and she sells her granny square hexi-cardis and many other things on there. So I'm going to link her Instagram in the description box, and from there it'll take you to her Etsy store. So I thought I would give Thea a little plug because she gifted me this gorgeous granny square hexi-cardi and I absolutely love it. So without any further ado, let the fun and games begin. Let's celebrate World Granny Square Day by making some granny square projects. So let's start our little stopwatch and I will see you all very, very soon. Okay, so the first square is completed. It took just over 18 minutes. Geez, wouldn't that be great? I'll just pop that down for now. So I have weaved in all the ends except for the little center one. I will do that later. Now I have to say that the instructions weren't horrible. I did miss one tiny bit of the instruction because I think, you know, when you've already made quite a few granny squares, you know, tend to rush ahead. But if you hadn't made a granny square before and you read it, you know, after dissecting the sentences up a little bit, a few times and then rereading it, I did miss that there was one chain in between the clusters, the granny stitch clusters, but that's okay. It still looks very nice. I'm not going to change it because I didn't realize until the third row, and I thought, first of all, I thought, no, I've done this now. And second of all, I thought, what if I run out of yarn? So I wanted to make sure that that wasn't going to happen. Now, the stitches are quite tight because the yarn seems to be a DK weight, and the hook is a 3mm. Generally, they recommend you use a 4mm, but I guess being a headband, you do want the stitches nice and tight. The other thing I noticed is that the yarn is quite splitty. So I did use the hook that came with it, which wasn't horrible. So I'm wondering if it's the yarn or the hook. So for the next square, I'm going to make sure that I use my own Clover and More hook. See if there's a difference. I've got a feeling it might be the yarn, not the hook. So we'll see how we go. I am going to follow the chart and make them exactly the same in the color order that they have so that I don't run out of any of the yarn. The only difference is because, you know, I have made, you know, I do have experience with granny squares, I'm going to join as I go rather than sew them together later. So, of course, you know, if you didn't have any experience with granny squares, you will follow it to the letter, the instructions, which does tell you to sew them together. And then I will make the little end bits, you know, where the headband is at the end, where you connect that bit there and the chain. So I might come back after the next granny square just to show you how they look when they're connected, and also to let you know if using my own hook made a difference in the splitting of the yarn. So I will see you all very, very soon. Okay, so at just under 38 minutes, 38 minutes, got it right. We're 2 squares in, join as you go. I think that's going to work out really nice. I've just got to sew in the middle little threads there. You do start off with a 4 chain center, not a magic ring. I just think that it's just easier to join as you go. Now, it was definitely not the hook. Believe it or not, it's the yarn. It is very, very splitty. It feels very, very nice and soft and smooth, but I don't think it's cotton, but I could be wrong. I'm not very good at really identifying fibers, but let's just go with it. They're saying that it's cotton, but it has got like, I think 4 or 6 little strands in it. I'll bring it up next and we'll, you know, see how many ply it is. But so it's not the hook. But in saying that, my Clover & More hook is just slightly smoother. So I'll probably continue with this one. But if you didn't have any hooks, this is actually not a bad hook. I'm really surprised. It's metal, it's got the rubber, it's actually pretty good. So now I've got 4 more squares to go. I am following, as we said, you know, their color combo. It looks like there's going to be a lot of yarn left over, which is actually a good thing. I might be able to make more than one, which would be great. But for now, we'll just stick to getting one done. At this rate, let's say 20 minutes each, so 2 4s are 80. So it'll be just over an hour, 60 minutes in an hour. Lucky I can do math. So I could probably do 3 in an hour. So I'll probably be back in about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours before I see you next. It's about 11:30 a.m. here. So I'm going to finish my coffee, and I have made one of my favorite things, which is like a treat. I've made a very chunky cafe style piece of raisin toast. Yes, it is slathered with quite a bit of butter, but that's the way you're meant to eat it when it's a treat, right, guys? So I'm going to have a little morning tea break. Then I'll get back to trying to finish the squares at the very least before Steve and I have a lunch break, because it is Sunday and Steve is home, which is nice. So, you know, we try to spend at least, you know, Sunday together the whole day, or as much as we can. So on that note, I will leave you for now, and I will see you back in just a sec. We're at 1 hour and 40 minutes in. So that took a bit less than I thought. I've actually finished all the 6 squares and I've connected them. They look kind of cute together, don't they? I would never have chosen these colours together, I don't think, but in saying that, they do work. So I need to now add the end bit and the strap. So they asked us to do it in the lilac, which I'm very happy about. So I've got my little head here, and when I put that on, it does look like it's going to be a nice size because the ears are about there. This is kind of my head size, a little bit smaller. So it does wrap around nicely, and then imagine with a little extension there on either side and the strap or the string. They call it the string. So I'm going to get onto this, and the next time you see me, we shall have a finished headband. How exciting is that? Just one thing I was going to show you is the strands of the yarn, why I think it is so splitty. So basically, so this is one of the, like the blue here, and when you pull it apart, it's actually got the 5 strands together. Let me unravel it slightly for you. Look at that. Now, I know that all yarn is made up of ply like that. It's a bit hard to see, but there are 5. But unfortunately, this yarn, there we go, that's a bit better. You can see them a bit better there. It actually does split very, very easily. But if you hold on to it tight, like when you're trying to thread a needle or pull it through with a hook, it actually isn't horrible. I know that I have been talking about how splitty it is, and at the same time saying it isn't horrible is such a contradiction, but it does glide off the hook easily. It does feel nice to work with. It doesn't make like a hard fabric or a rough fabric. It's actually quite soft, but the splittiness does get to you after a while. But other than that, the only thing that does is slow you down a little bit. So I just thought I would show you that it is made up of 5 strands because I wasn't sure how many. I don't know, does that mean it's 5 ply? I don't know. I'm not quite, I'm not very good at knowing how yarn is made up and things like that. So maybe that's something I should do a little bit of research in, how to actually identify yarn fibers. I know that some people talk about there's like a burn test or something. Anyway, I won't be doing that in a hurry. Don't want to be playing with fire. but they said cotton, will stick with cotton. It's got 5 strands. Does that make it 5 ply? I think it's behaving quite, or like it's as thick as a DK weight or an 8 ply. So I will leave you with that for now and get back to finishing this headband. See you all very, very soon. Okay, we're taking a break in today's scheduled crochet program because I got it in my head that I want to make bread. My mum makes bread for us all the time. She usually makes a round bread for church. She has a little like a seal or a stamp for it, and then she makes long loaves for us. I'm going to pop a photo of the last lot of bread she made for us, and it is delicious. Now this is not going to be the same as hers, but I did come across a recipe that says air fryer bread, no bake. No kneading. So that is going to be very exciting. Over the years, I have made tsurekia, which are the Greek Easter bread. I've made hot cross buns. They were delicious. I've made those cinnabuns. Oh my gosh, I had made so many of those over the time. And I actually have a bread maker, but my children have bought me an air fryer and they swear by this. So I thought, if this actually works, I'll give them the recipe as well. So I'm going to share it with you. I'll actually pop the YouTube tutorial that I used for it as well. I know I'm a little bit far away, but I couldn't quite get the angle of the camera right. But I'm going to show you how I make it. And then hopefully by the end of the night, I'll be able to show you some bread that is actually edible. Fingers and toes crossed, guys. So it doesn't give you the measures in weight, which is the way I like to bake. I usually have a set of scales and I weigh everything, but it's showing me how to do it old school. So you need 2 cups of plain flour. What we call plain flour here in Australia, I think many of you might know as all-purpose flour. So I've already got 1 cup in here, my little bowl, but I'll show you the way that I learned how to measure flour, old school way when I was at school, so that you would get the right amount of flour in there because you don't want it too compacted or not enough. So I remember our classroom teacher had taught us to spoon the flour into our cup measure. So I will have it a little bit more like piled up high is what I'm trying to say. And then what you do is you get your butter knife or a knife and you just slide it across the top. Can you see that over there? Slide it across the top until you get a nice level top like that. And that's supposed to give you a proper measure of your dry ingredients. So that's our flour done, simple. The next one, it says that we need 1 teaspoon of dry yeast, active dry yeast. Now I just bought this, it's nice and fresh for this recipe here. So let's open it up. Now these come in 7-gram sachets. I'm not exactly sure how many ounces and all of that is. But in here, they come in these little sachets like this. So I've actually got a teaspoon measure here. I'm going to use my scissors. I don't want it flying everywhere. Yeast is tiny, tiny. So I've got a teaspoon measure here. So I'm going to pop this in, and I think, you know what? It's just a tiny bit over, but I'm going to put it in. There we go. I think you can't go wrong really, right? And then it says that we need 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Now, if it rises too much, we'll know that I've put in too much yeast. So here's my 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Let's sprinkle that in. And then it says to simply stir those together. So here we are, we're just simply stirring them together, which is nothing, crazy. And then it says that you need room temperature water, either 1 cup or 200 mils. Now, when you're measuring liquids, I always thought it was in mils. So I've measured 200 mils here. So they always say what? To make a well in the center. And then I'm going to pour it in. And it simply says to stir all the ingredients together. Now they used a spatula in the video, so I'm going to do the same. I can't believe that there's no kneading. Oh, of course I'm making a mess. But you know what? If this actually turns out, I kind of wish I didn't put all that yeast in now, but that's okay. Let's just go with it. because it's just going to be easier if I remember in the future that you need 1 sachet of yeast rather than throwing it out. I don't like to waste. All right, so it says to really mix it in nicely. It's a little bit drier than what theirs was. Let me just do that. Well, this is what it's looking like. What do you reckon? Do I need any more water? There we go. Every last drop. All right, let's keep moving. Now, take that off. We don't want to waste any, because who doesn't love the aroma of homemade bread when it's cooking in the house, right? Now, this is almost looking like glue here. All right, so let's pat it down. Now, what we need to do next is, I do have a towel here. Let me just wipe my hands. Right, so what we need to do next is, you can use like a little container of oil and a brush, but I happen to have my favorite oil spray here. It says to spray the sides, because when your dough rises, you don't want it to stick to the side. And then we just have to cover it with some cling wrap. Let's do that now. Okie dokie. So as simple as that, guys. Now the time now is nearly 1:30. So it says that you need to proof it or let it rise to double in size for about 1 hour and 45 minutes. So we've actually got the oven that we had on earlier. It's actually very, very, like, not hot. It's just a little bit warm in there. So I might pop it in there because it's actually a freezing cold day and I don't want this to be rising for the next 3 hours. So I'm going to pop it in the oven. It does say to cover it with a tea towel, so I might even do that. And I will check in with you in about 2 hours max. Let's see how this goes. Fingers and toes crossed, guys. So here we are, 2 hours and 10 minutes in, and our project number 1 has been completed. So here is our granny square headband. It actually turned out really pretty. The side there and this side turned out okay, I think. I like the single crochet border all the way around, and the tie is just a simple chain. You could, I guess, single crochet or slip stitch all the way up if you wish to. So let's do a little review on this now. I'm going to show you how much yarn we have left, which is quite a bit of yarn, and I'm sure that if you made up your own, colour combos, you could get another one in. So that's pretty good. We also used the hook that came with it, and I have to say it wasn't a horrible hook. I actually didn't mind working with it at all, but I just thought I had my Clover and More, I might as well just use that. The stitch markers worked like any stitch markers would, very well. The little darning needle being plastic and it's got a very big eye, I didn't like using it with this smaller yarn because, we did use a 3mm hook. So as you can see, it's quite a large eye, but that will come in handy for some thicker yarn. So definitely won't go to waste. So it was a very nice kit, I think, especially for the price. Now, let's go into the instructions. This is where I think that it loses a few marks, because I will give it a grading, in my opinion, out of 10, what I think it's worth. So everything that it says that was in there, promised, was actually in there. More than enough yarn to complete the project. All you needed was a pair of scissors at home, and then you could complete this project. I do like that it does show you how to do the stitches. So single crochet, double crochet 2 together. Now it is written in US terminology. I'm not sure if I've seen that anywhere, but I realize that, only because, as I said, I have made granny squares before. Now the instructions, or, the pattern isn't written in the way that we're used to reading it, not me anyway. It calls the top of the stitches knots, although it refers to stitches. So it's a little bit confusing. It didn't tell you it tells you a total of single crochet that you have, but not really how many to put in the corners and things like that, or in between, where you've joined them. So if you haven't crocheted before, I think that you would probably have to watch a tutorial or get some help. But if you have crocheted before, even if you're just a bare beginner, I think that you'll be okay. And like I said, for about $6, I think it's a beautiful headband. Excuse me. Knowing now that there's so much extra yarn, you don't even have to use the color combos that they did. So it's totally up to you. I do love that they used the lilac, the lavender, or the purple in the end. That was a real treat for me. So project number 1, guys, tick, done and dusted. So let's talk about project number 2 now. I'm going to have to reset my stopwatch because we might actually get another one not only started today, but hopefully on its way to being finished. So I'm going to put that little box away, and now we're going to look at our granny square scarf. Now, once again, it shows us that it's got 4 different colors of yarn in there. It looks like, see, the only thing with the other one is there were no ball bands. See there, it's a bit deceiving. It was a little bit messy in there, but that's okay. Like I said, for the price, not going to complain. Now, did I give you a rating for the headband? No, of course I didn't, because you know I like to jump ahead. I would definitely give it at a minimum 8 out of 10. Because the yarn was a little bit splitty, and the instructions or the pattern wasn't written that clearly if you're an absolute beginner. So anywhere between an 8.5, 8 and 8. I'm going to give it 8.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. So that's our headband done now. Oh my gosh, I really need to focus. So now back to our granny square scarf. It tells us that it's got a hook in there, stitch markers, pretty much everything we saw in the other one. I'm just guessing that there's going to be more of each color because there are 4 colors instead of 8. So let's open this up. Again, I love the packaging. These boxes are so nice and sturdy, and you can carry your project around in them as well because they're like a little, oops, here we go. Oh my gosh, it's on very tight. So again, let's open it together because I haven't opened these as yet. This is so cool. Now, I don't want to rip the box because I do, like I said, like very much the packaging. Oh, I did rip it a little bit, but that's okay. A bit of sticky tape will fix that. Okay, there's a lot of yarn in here, guys. Look at that. Very nice colors together, I think. And because of the purple being, you know, the joining color, it looks like here, there's more of it, which, you know, I'm so happy with. Again, it's the same sort of yarn. In actual fact, this one does feel like it's cotton. It is thinner than a DK weight though. The other one felt thicker than this one. And I'm going to pop my glasses on so we can see what size hook they've given us and what fiber they're saying that this is. It's saying that it's cotton. And I actually really do think that this one is cotton. Very, very pretty. We have another, what size? Oh my gosh, a 2.5 millimeter hook. I think that's just a little bit too small. But in saying that, this yarn is thinner for sure. So let's take all our, oh my gosh, I actually love these colors together. So there's the lilac, the teal, oh, it's unraveling, the dusty pink, and that's like a mustard color. Very, very pretty. Just like the other one, we have the stitch markers and the little darning needle. So I have 2 sets of those now. And of course we have our instruction manual, as they're calling it. So I'm going to reset my stopwatch in just a moment. Go away, make, how many do we have to make? It looks like we're making 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even know why I'm guessing. It's in the instructions, guys, for sure. It looks like we're making 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, I'm just guessing now. I will get back to you with the exact number that we have to make. After I make at least 1, I might pop in and say, hey, this is what we're up to. And then we'll carry on from there. Let me reset my starter. Reset. So we're back to 0. Now, before I go, I just want you to know that I did take a little peek in the oven. The bread is proofing very, very nicely. It's almost doubled in size because now it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, which is about an hour after I popped it in there to proof. So I might go and do the next step before we actually bake that bread or put it in the air fryer, because it is going to be an air fryer bread. So let's get back on track to our crochet Granny Square crochet project number 2, which is going to be the Granny Square scarf. Let's start our stopwatch and get started again. Here we go. This is exciting. I wonder how far we'll get with this. Okay, I'll see you all very, very soon. Okay, here we are back in the kitchen. This has been proofing in the oven for about 1 hour and 45 minutes, which is exactly what the tutorial told us we should do. And look at it. Oh my gosh, it has definitely doubled its size. And I love that it's got the bubbles, because the bubbles means that it's going to be nice and airy or aerated inside, you know, the bread. So let's take the cling wrap off. And then it tells us that we need to stir the dough, basically knock it down. Oh my gosh, it is so nice and sticky. I was a little bit worried that I put too much yeast. Anyway, let's not get too excited as yet. So basically it tells you to give it a nice stir. And lucky we put all that oil on the sides because it's not sticking at all. Now I have a tin here. So this is actually a spring-form tin, but it's the only size tin that I have that fits in my air fryer. So he did tell us that we needed to oil it, so I used my oil spray, just like before. And he tells us now all we need to do is plonk it in here, and that's what I'll do. Oh, it's coming out really nicely. It's a nice sticky dough. I love that. Okay. Oops. Don't want to lose any. Now, let me just put here. Now, it just says to sort of kind of flatten it out and smooth it out on top. So I'm just pushing it out with my spatula to the sides. Oh, wow. I can see air bubbles everywhere. I love this. That means the yeast worked, thankfully. Because you worry about the yeast not getting activated. Is that the right word? All of you bakers out there. Okay, so I think I've smoothed that nicely enough. Let me give you a little peek. There we go. So it does say that we need to sprinkle a tiny bit of flour on top. So let's sprinkle a little bit on there. Now it also says that you can add sesame seeds. I don't have any. I guess you could put poppy seeds, whatever you like to put into your bread, like sprinkle on top of your bread. So I'm going to pop this now. It says to put it in your air fryer for 30 minutes, not to cook it, just to let it rise again or proof, maybe half an hour or so. So I'm either going to pop it in the oven again or into the air fryer. I might just set my alarm for half an hour and I'll be back so that we can put it in the air fryer together and keep those fingers crossed, guys, because we want to have fresh bread later. I cannot wait to fill the house with the aroma of fresh bread. So I will catch you in a few more minutes. Okay, it's half an hour later and wait till you see this, guys. Oh my gosh, it is more than ready to pop into the air fryer. Okay, so it says here that we need to put it in at 380 degrees Fahrenheit, or for us, 190 degrees Celsius. I've already set my air fry at 190, and it says 25 to 30 minutes to pop it in there, but they cooked it for 25, so I'm going to do the same, and then at 25 minutes, I'll see how it feels and how it looks, and then we'll make a judgment call then. So I'm going to pop it in here now. And it fits just perfectly. I was able to get one that's the right size. So let's put it in. We're going to start this together. Oops. And then when it goes ding, we will see what it looks like. I can't imagine how amazing the house will smell. It is freezing here, guys. I don't know if you can hear the rain. Literally half a minute ago, it was pouring with rain. And about an hour ago, the sun was out. Anyway, let's do this together. Fingers and toes crossed, guys, that we get a nice, crusty and fluffy, aerated bread at the end of this. So 25 minutes. I've made sure that it's on and that the air is blowing out. I don't know if you have an air fryer, but if you do, you've got to make sure that there's nothing behind it so that the air flows and it doesn't, burn anything, I guess. So we will leave it now for 25 minutes, and just like that, I'll be back to share the bread with you. Okay, so the bread's been baking now for about 23 and a half minutes. So very soon we're going to hear that ding, that magic ding. And let me tell you straight up, I can't smell the bread in the house. I wish I could. I just smell air fryer, but that's okay. I guess that's the different type of cooking. I just was expecting to have the, bread smell wafting through the house, but it is what it is. So while I'm waiting for the ding, while we're waiting for it together, I have been crocheting the first square for the scarf. I'm about halfway through, so very soon I'll give you an update on that. Now when this comes out, it won't actually come out straight away. We need to leave it, tells us, for 10 minutes in its pan, and then when we bring it out, it should be nice and soft. Because initially, you can tap it, and I guess it sounds hollow, like it does when you bring it out of the oven. I shouldn't really be comparing the two different types of cooking or baking. And then it softens after the 10 minutes. And then we'll slice into it and see what it looks like. So let's patiently wait for that ding. It's not far to go now. Now back to the square, they are tiny compared to the squares I'm used to making, only because of that tiny hook. But it is a nice change from using my big chunky hooks that I love to use. This project will definitely take longer than the headband. So, be prepared for a few segments over the next couple of days for this one. But we still have 5 days before Friday, Granny Square Day, the 15th of August 2025. So I'm looking forward to that. Can you hear it in the background? Is it very noisy? I can hear birds chirping outside. I wonder if that means the sun's coming. So where are we, guys? We're going to be on the final countdown now. I wish I could do a 10, 9, 8, all the way to 0, but I don't know how long it's going to be. But I'm not going to pause you, so just bear with me. It is what it is. I've got all the lights on in the house because it's dark and gloomy outside, so hopefully you can see what's happening. This is the furthest I've been from you guys for such a long time because I had to try to get myself into the frame as well. So we're not long to go now. Oh my gosh, I hope this works because I know it's something that my children will enjoy making as well. 3 simple ingredients, or 4 including water. Ding! It's done, guys. Okay, I'm going to turn it off with the power. I'll have a sneak peek. Oh my gosh, it certainly does not need any more time. Okay, I'm going to try to hold it. There you go. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy I didn't leave it for 30 minutes. So it certainly does sound hollow. I hope that I haven't overbaked it now. First time, we're doing this together, guys, first time. So now it is 4:05, so in 10 minutes, as it tells me here, I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to wait, and then I'll come back. I'll have it ready for us to slice. Oh my gosh. Okay, see you in just a sec. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. Let me take it out. Let's hope it's not stuck. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, look at that steam. Can you guys see that? That feels nice. It is a little bit more bouncy. There's the bottom. So are we ready to cut into this? Let me move this out of the way. Are we ready to slice into this together? Listen to it. Now that's a nice crust. Look at all the bubbles. Oh my gosh, look at the steam coming off it. Now it's a lovely colour. It smells nice. Okay, I'm going to slice some now. Well, it looks like bread. It smells like bread. Let's hope it tastes like bread. Oh my gosh, guys, there it is. I actually made bread. So the proof is in the eating, right? So I'm going to slice some, let it cool down for a bit, or actually put some butter on it and let it just ooze in. And Steve and I will try some. And when I give you an update on the Granny Square, which will be very, very soon, I'll let you know what we thought of this. Thank you so much for baking bread with me. The bread was a huge hit. It got the 2 thumbs up from Steve. He had his with butter. I had mine with orange marmalade, and the newlyweds had theirs with Nutella. So let me tell you, I will be baking some more of this bread in the near future. Even my daughter, because I sent her photos and the videos, said, "Oh, it looks so yum, was it?" I said, "Yes, it was, and some will be coming your way soon." So now let's get back to our granny square scarf. Okay, let me tell you, this granny square looks pretty, I think. And I opted to do the granny square clusters before I join them instead of the solid granny square look that they've got in between. Even though that does look nice because it looks like it's got a stripe of different colour in between, I just wanted to continue the granny square theme. But this square takes forever. Okay, nearly 45 minutes. Oh my gosh. So that is a long time, and I need to make 12. I read the pattern, and it does say at the very top, make 12 squares. Now they do alternate the colors in the 3 different ways. So I'm going to continue with making, you know, multiples of those 3 different colors. So now it is nearly 6 p.m. So I might have a couple of hours break, you know, the usual drill, get dinner sorted, make some lunches because tomorrow is Monday, it's Sunday here. It is getting pretty dark out there now as the sun, well, what we saw snippets of sun today is setting. So I will continue with this, and then I'll probably come back for one more little check-in for today until we call it a night, and then I'll be back during the week. As I'm back at work, it won't be, you know, as frequent, but definitely in the afternoons and in the evenings, I'll tap in a couple of times and let you know how I'm traveling. Now, I am using the hook that came in the kit, the 2.5mm hook, and I'm going to continue with it. I'm finding it very easy to work with, and I see no need to change it up this time around. But the yarn is still very splitty, and as I'm working with it, it definitely feels pretty much the same as the one for the headband, only might be a little bit thinner. I'm thinking that this yarn might actually have some acrylic in it. But like I said, we're going with cotton because that's what it says on the box, and I'm still not 100% au fait with, you know, working out what fiber I'm working with all the time. I know that's terrible after being crocheting for so long and working with yarn, but there are some yarns that still trick me. So on that note, I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you before the end of the night. This is going to be the last update for today for the granny square scarf. We're 3 hours and 42 minutes in, and I've managed to make 5 squares. I have changed the pattern or the design completely. So this is what I'm up to. This is my starting square here, and you can see that the center square, or the beginning of this, the center of the square, I'm then making a solid color for it. So this one is green, green, and this one's going to be caramel, the next one. And that's going to be the middle of my scarf. So I've made a little plan here. Never mind my messy writing. So I've got the caramel solid to go, and then I'm going to go backwards. So then in actual fact, when you drape it over your neck, it's going to be the same on both sides. Now this scarf is going to be 132 centimeters, or how many inches? 52 inches, I think I've written here. That's the length of it. And then each square is 12 by 12 centimeters, or 4 3/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. So it's going to be a nice size scarf. You'll be able to, you know, flip it over once at least. It's going to be more decorative, and it is going to have the border all the way around, like a little border in the purple, which is very nice. I opted to make it this way for 2 reasons. I like the idea of having the solid colors in there as well. I like the idea of having it symmetrical. Is that the word, when it's the same on both sides? And also, it's going to make it grow quicker, because the solid colored squares actually, you know, they're pretty much half the time to do them, obviously, because you're not changing colors in every row, although it is beautiful when you change colors in every row. Now, the reason why I have a stitch marker on this one is to remind me where the starting square is, because this square I put down here by accident and I couldn't work out in my head why it wasn't right, so I had to unstitch it. So I don't want that to be happening again. So that is my starting point, and it's a visual for me. That's why I did it in red as well. So right now it's after 10 p.m. on the Sunday night. We started our Granny Square challenge. I'm going to call it that now, for the year of the Granny Square celebration on August 15th, 2025, which is Friday. So we still have a few more days. As I said, it's after 10 p.m. now, so I'm going to say goodnight to all of you. I'm going to have a shower, make a cup of tea, jump into bed. I more than likely will crochet the solid caramel color here, because, you know, that'll be quite mindless to do while I'm in bed. And I have to tell you, I'll be binge watching again, which I have been doing for the whole week since it started, Leanne on Netflix. So Leanne Morgan, one of my favorite comedians, which I have mentioned before, she has her own sitcom. Oh my gosh, I think I'm up to the 4th time watching it in a loop. There's 16 episodes. They're only about 20 minutes each, and it is such an easy and fun watch. It's like hanging out with a girlfriend. So if you want something to watch that's a lot of fun, serious in nature but fun, please go ahead and, you know, join in. You know, let me know if you're watching it and what you think of it as well. So on that note, I'm going to wish you all good night. As I said, oh, I can see a stray tail there. I thought I had sewn them all in. Never mind, I'll get to that. And I will see you sometime tomorrow. More than likely it'll be in the afternoon, because it is a working day for me. So until then, take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye. Hello, I come back to you on a Tuesday. So we missed Monday completely, but I have been working on my Granny Square scarf for our World Granny Square Day Challenge, I'm calling it, for 2025. So we have completed project number 2. So let me show it to you, and then I'll talk to you a little bit about what my thoughts were. Now, when I last saw you, I was about 3.5 hours in, just over, and about 4.5 hours later, of crochet time, that is, but 2 whole days pretty much, because it's 7 p.m. here on Tuesday the 12th of August 2025, and just under 8 hours and 10 minutes. Wow, that is such a long time for a scarf, but I have completed it, and let me show it to you. So it is symmetrical, as we said. Both sides are identical, because that's your middle piece there, and then the other side is exactly the same. So, you know what, I think it's very, very pretty. It is a nice length. It's 152 centimeters, I'm pretty sure I said last time, or 52 inches, 132 centimeters and 52 inches. Now, when you drape it over your neck, you can sort of maybe do that with it. I'm not sure what I really think about the thickness of it, but it is very, very pretty. So let's talk about the kit itself. Did it come with enough yarn, you ask me? It certainly did. Let me show you how much yarn is left over. Look at that, guys. That's pretty much a full ball. This one is pretty full as well. The pink is almost disappeared. So is this beautiful caramel color, and then we have some more of the lilac. So they're very generous with the amount of yarn that they put in there. Lucky that this one made it. I was a little bit concerned. The stitch markers work beautifully. I didn't need to use them for this project. Again, the little darning needle, it is a little bit thick for this thickness yarn. I have to say I'm very impressed with the hook though. 2.5 millimeters is way too small for me, and this is why this project took so long. I think that this yarn is lovely, still splitty, but would have made awesome coasters or a bag or something like that for my personal preference. I'm not hating on it, I'm just saying that I wouldn't use this yarn to make a scarf. But in saying that, this hook, like I said, really surprised me. I used it for the whole entire project. Very, very, very small hook for me, but I did finish it. In over 8 hours though. That's just crazy. I could have crocheted a whole blanket in that time. That's what I kept thinking. But I'm very happy that I did make this project, because I now know that if I was to buy this kit for, I think it would have been around $8 from memory. All that yarn in there, like I said, you could probably make a bag with it, or even coasters. I think I'm going to use the rest of this yarn for coasters, or you could have even made a cushion cover. So now knowing what type of yarn is in there, because you can't open it up in the shop obviously, you know that you can make something really nice with it. I don't think that this is going to go to waste. It is very, very pretty after all, and I really do like the colors. So we'll see what the future holds for this granny square scarf. Mine does look a little bit different to the picture, but that's okay because my plan was different, but I did stick to my plan. So now we have the fun job of rating it. I'm going to give it, I think, an 8, 7.5 or an 8. Only reason why I would give it a 7.5 is that it's not plump enough or squishy enough, the yarn, for me for a scarf. But for the amount of yarn and everything we got in there, even the hook, like I said, I'm sure I'll be using that hook again. I'm going to be a little bit more kind and generous and give it an 8. So that one is now tick, done and dusted, and we are project number 3, lucky last now. So this is our granny square tote bag. And if the yarn in here is like the yarn in there, I think it's going to make a great tote bag. So I actually really like the look of it. Let's open the box together. Again, like I said, really good quality cardboard boxes. Yes, they are only cardboard, but you can transport your project around. They really do put these on nice and tight. Wow, they don't even spare a millimeter. Done. Okay, let's open this up together. Again, I'm pretty sure it says cotton yarn in here. Let me have a little look. Glasses on. 10 colors of cotton thread. Okay, thread. Oh, wow, I hope it's not even thinner than that one. Let's open it up as carefully as we can. You know I don't like to break anything. Oh my gosh, it just takes way too long, this. But you know what? This is part of the process, guys. I always seem to cut one open. Okay. Oh my gosh, I'm loving the colors in here already. Look at that. Oh, wow. No ball bands again, but that's okay. I really love these colors. Okay, so this is obviously the joining yarn. So that's a beautiful cream color. Let me pop this down. And then there's two, it's actually the same yarn, guys. The exact same yarn that we've been using the whole entire time. Wow, this is a tiny piece. So I need to really be quite vigilant and stick to the plan for the squares, the colors. Because look at this tiny amount. That's actually different to that one. Maybe that's a couple of the centers. And then there's these beautiful colors as well. I love this color palette already. Now I'm going to pop these down because I won't be able to hold them all. Oops, I've already lost the ball. Now there's these two greens. One's more like a foresty, not spring, more foresty, and this is more like a, what color is that? It's not quite minty, but it is beautiful. A lovely pale yellow or lemon yellow and orange and pink. Absolutely gorgeous. I absolutely love those colors. The same little set of stitch markers and yarn, darning needle. Stitch markers are going to be very handy, definitely. And this hook is, again, tiny. Glasses on. Let's see how many millimeters this one is. Where is it? Oh, this is another 3. So now, oh, what's that? It's got a bit of plastic on it. So now I have 2 3mm hooks. Let's fix the hair and the the beanie. Now another 3mm hook. So I think that this yarn and this project are going to be a great match. So this is what I'm hoping to be able to make. Excuse me. You know what? I have now, excuse me, Wednesday, Thursday, really, only 2 days to finish this project. So let's see how we go. I will try to tap in a bit later on this evening and let you know what I'm up to, because now it's dinner time. And I have a frog in my throat, so I really need to go. So I will see you guys later on this evening, and then I'll let you know if I think I'll actually finish it before Friday, because I do have to go to work, guys. I wish this was the school holidays, but it's not. So let's try to do our very best to finish this tote. But I'm actually excited to be making this one. So I will see you guys a little bit later on before I say goodnight for Tuesday. Okay, so since I last saw you a few seconds ago, we've had dinner. It was delicious. My son came to visit while my beautiful daughter-in-law was at Reformer Pilates. She keeps inviting me to go. Maybe one day I really should join her. And I have spent just over 27 minutes on the first square for our granny square tote bag. So here it is here. So this is the plan. I've made the square up until the second last round. So the last round will be in this cream, and that is the joining color. So you can see here in the little picture there. Now, I did read the instructions. They're exactly the same as the others. Not very clear if you haven't crocheted before. And it does say to make 14 squares in total. Now, there is a diagram here which confused me so much of how to put it together. But now that I have a visual, and I'll share that with you because it might help you in the future too. Now I know what I'm doing. So there's the visual, there's the diagram there of how you're meant to join the squares to make the actual tote. And I just could not wrap my head around it. Maybe because it is about 9:30 at night. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm a bit too tired, a bit fried from being at work all day. But I had to make myself a visual prop because I am a very visual learner. Now, I did have all my other bits and bobs downstairs for the sizing, but I have left it down there, but that's okay because I'm going to use it. This is only like, it's not to scale. So basically, each square is 12 centimeters or 4.4 3/4 inches, I think, from memory, which is exactly the same size as the ones here for the scarf, for example. So you need to make 14, so I couldn't work out how that was going to work out. So in essence, when you look at the picture, I'm all over the place now, I've got to think. So you can tell that there are 6, there's 1, 2 at the back, 4, and 2 on the side, 6. So I just couldn't work out how that diagram that I just showed you was showing 4 and 4 and then 6 down the bottom. So I made myself a little model, as I said, not to scale, but I did have something to show you that was the right size, but that doesn't matter. You can imagine that it's 24 centimeters across because there'll be 2 squares, and then 1 square for the width or the depth, including the bottom of the bag or the tote, 12 centimeters, and then again the same at the back, and the height will be 24, so across, and 24 for the height as well. And then you need to join them and also do a little border around the top and then the handle. So it's not going to be huge by no means. I don't have a tape measure here, but as they're growing you'll see them, and when I see you next I might show you a little template of the actual sizing of it. So then I thought, well, it's not going to be very big. It's going to be smallish, I guess, about maybe this size across and then height, which isn't horrible. You can put a nice little project in it. And then I thought, you know what, maybe I can make extra squares because we always have extra yarn. But what's stopping me is that I only have 1 ball of the cream. And as I said, I need to join them all and then make the top bit, you know, the edging and the handle. So that bit there. It's a bit hard to see with the light there, that bit there. So I am going to stick to 14 squares. If this one took me nearly half an hour, so we've got a few more to go. 13, let's say 12, that's 6 hours. You know what, let's see where this takes us. I'm going to make as many of, I'll try to make 14 squares, and then I will work out how to join them as I go. So basically you need to join 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Wish I didn't do this in white. And then the same underneath, and then, so that's 4 across and 4 across, and then you do 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and somehow you join it. So that's going to, I'm going to have to be working on that as I'm crocheting, because I just have to get my head around the construction of this tote bag. That's something that has always stumbled me in the past when I've been making granny square totes, trying to get the construction right. So I will not let it beat me. I will make sure that I get this done. And I'm hoping that it'll be by Friday. Now, tomorrow is Wednesday. As I said, I'm working the full day until about 3:30 I'll be home. So hopefully I can get about 2 or 3 hours in tomorrow, maybe 4 even, which would be great. So I will definitely see you tomorrow. I'm not going to come back tonight. I'm going to have a shower because Steve and I are in the middle of a Beverly Hills Cop marathon. We're at movie number 2, The Alphabet Murders. I think that's what it's called. And I'm hoping to see the rest of that movie now and maybe even the next one. So I will continue to crochet for the next couple of hours because it is only 9:30. But, you know, at least I can enjoy watching a movie as well at the same time. So I'm sorry if I've been waffling on for the last couple of minutes because my head is trying to work out how I'm going to do this. As I said, I would have liked to make it a little bit bigger, but only having this much of this color is going to stop me from making it bigger. But if I can manage to make this tote by Friday, that'll be pretty awesome too. So I'm going to say good night for now, and I will tap in tomorrow and we'll see how far I've gotten with this tote. Good night for now. Hello, hello. Today's Wednesday, the 13th of August, 2025. It is currently nearly 4:30 p.m. in the afternoon. I got home from work. I had my afternoon tea, which was lovely. And I thought I'd best get on and just show you my progress since I last saw you last night when I was about 27 minutes, so under half an hour. I had actually crocheted 1 square. So let me show you the squares and I'll let you know what time we're at. So here is the square from last night. And then I made another 2, the same. Most of the ends are weaved in. I just need to trim the backs. So don't look at the backs right now. So there are 3 in this color. And then I made 1 colors, I should say. And then 1 in these colors here. I think they're coming up very, very pretty. I'm trying my very best to follow the color patterns as they are on the bag. So I'm making the granny square tote right now. And I am just under 2 hours in. So now what I'm hoping to do today is go away and use the rest of the yarn and create another, how many are we at? 4. I need another 10 squares like this before I start, well, you know, change up the colors obviously. And then I'm going to start putting the border on. But before I do that, because I'd like to join as I go, I'm going to make a little plan of where the colors will go. And then that way I'll be able to sew it up the way that they show us in the diagram. I've actually got my little template here. This is going to be the actual size of the bag. So it's not going to be a horrible size really. At first I thought it'd be tiny, but now looking at it, I think it's quite nice for a smaller project. So that's 24 centimeters, and I think it's about 9.5 inches square. And then of course we're going to add a little bit of a border here and the handles, and the depth of it is going to be the size of one of the granny squares, which is about 12 centimeters. So that'll be the depth. So it will hold quite a few things in there. Now let's see, as we said, it's now 4:30. I'm going to make lunches for tomorrow, then I'm going to crochet for about an hour. Thankfully, I do have leftovers from last night, chili con carne. Is that how you say it, or chili con carne? I can never say that properly, but it is delicious, and we will be having leftovers tonight, so I don't have to worry about dinner. And then after that, I'm guessing I could probably get another 3 hours in. So if I can get 4 solid hours of crochet today, that would mean I could probably get 8 squares. So I would be very, very close to finishing them off. That'll be 12. And then hopefully tomorrow afternoon, I will have some time to finish the last 2 and start putting it together. So we might be in with a chance to finish our little tote before August the 15th, which is World Granny Square Day. And this is what we're gearing ourselves up for after all. So I'm going to go away now, work as hard as I can, see how many hours I can put on that clock, see how many squares I can crank out. And I'll see you back in for a check-in before I say goodnight for the day. It's after 11 p.m. I'm going to put my hook down for the night. But before I say goodnight, I'm going to show you my progress for the end of today. And then we'll see how far we get tomorrow. So we're just over 6.5 hours into making the tote bag. And I've completed all 14 squares. That's without the final border, because that'll be my joining, or my final row, because that'll be my joining row. So let me show you how pretty these squares are. So there are 3 of these, this color here. colors, I always say color, and then this color combination here, there are 3 of these as well, and then we have 3 of these. Isn't it funny? I would never have chosen these colors, but I think they're going to make a very pretty tote bag. They work very, very well together. And then there are 2 of those. So there were 3 of that one and 2 of these. So this is what, well, now I'm going to have the fun task, actually. I was going to say this is what they look like together. But now I'm going to put them all together. I'm going to lay them out, have a little plan, and then I'll start joining as I go. So this is it. The yarn is down to this much. So in actual fact, I probably wouldn't have been able to make many more squares. So this is the only kit that seems to have sort of made exactly what you needed. And here is my joining yarn here. So fingers and toes crossed that this is enough to join them all. If I need to do the little border at the top before I do the handles with the different colours, I think that actually might work out quite nice too. So I can't remember how many rows I need to do, maybe 3, 4, 5. So I might actually put different colours. We'll see what it looks like, and we'll see how far this yarn takes us, because we also need to make handles. So that's going to be my task for tomorrow. Laying these out, making a little plan of how to, the construction of the bag, and then I'll start putting it together. So I don't really know how many hours I'll have tomorrow to allocate to this project. Reason being, I'll be at work, of course, all day. By the time I get home, I'm going to have to put together our podcast, our weekly podcast, so look out for that. Oh, by now you would have already seen it, hopefully. If not, go ahead and see it, please. And then we'll have 1 day to go before it's Friday the 15th, World Granny Square Day. So for now, I'm going to say goodnight in just a moment. Steve and I have been watching season 2 of Wednesday. We rewatched over the last few days, like over the weekend, and finished the last episode, I think episode and a half today, of season 1. We just rewatched it, and now we're watching season 2. So I wonder how many of you have watched it as well, and what some of your favourite parts are. No spoilers for season 2, thank you. We're up to episode 3, I think. But I have to say, from season 1, my favourite, I have 2 favourite scenes. I love the whole thing, but when Wednesday plays her cello on the roof, that was amazing, that performance. And also loved the dance scene. So I wonder if any of you like those as well. If you have other favourite scenes, please share. But like I said, no spoilers, please, for season 2. So I'm going to say good night. Hope you've all had a wonderful day, and thank you for hanging out with me once again. So I'm going to tap in again tomorrow, being Thursday, the 14th of August. Oh my gosh, we're nearly halfway through August already. That's crazy. And I'll let you know how I'm going with this little plan for this tote bag. We're getting very close now. So let's see how many hours I can put into this tomorrow. Hopefully at least 2, possibly 3 if I'm lucky. So I'm going to leave you for now, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye-bye. Happy Thursday, everyone. Since I last saw you, I have done no crochet. I know, that's just crazy. Who can believe that? Because it's nearly 9 p.m. Over here, I've got the layout for the construction of the bag, and I'll share that with you in just a moment. But since I last saw you, I've put out this week's podcast, number 148. If you haven't already hung out with me there, please go and do so. And I made some delicious slow-cooked ribs for dinner. 3.5 hours in the oven. They were delicious. They just fell off the bone. So Steve and I have had dinner. We are going to watch at least 1 episode, I hope, tonight of Wednesday. And I'm going to start crocheting the borders on these squares with this yarn here. So this is the cream colour yarn. We have 1 ball to work with. We'll see how we go after we connect them all, if I need to add different colours for the little border on top. And then we'll add the straps. So it's 14th of August 2025 today, and World Granny Square Day is the 15th of August 2025. Let's see how far we get into finishing this tote bag. So let me just show you the little layout here of the squares. So these squares here are the front panel. This is the base. And these are going to flip over and join onto these end bits here and form the middle bits on the other side of the bag. So that's going to be the base there. So you can get an idea of how the construction is. So at least I've got all the squares pinned down now. That's going to be easier for me to actually, you know, visualize what I'm doing and connecting them. So I'm going to start on this because I'm a little bit excited to see this bag or tote finish. Oh, it won't sit still. It's just too wide for the chair. Okay, let's just let it do its thing. All right, so that's it. I don't think I'll be seeing you again this evening. So the next time you see me will actually be World Granny Square Day, the 15th, as we said, of August 2025. I have, I'd say, from now till then, about 2, 3, 4 hours of crochet to get. I have no idea. I shouldn't really be guessing, but I'm hoping to at least join all the squares. So fingers and toes crossed, we get further than what I think. Wouldn't it be wonderful to finish all 3 projects? But if not, we've given it a good go. So for now, I'll keep you guessing just as much as I'm guessing to see how far we get with this tote bag. For now, I'm going to say good night, and I will see you Friday, 15th of August, 2025. Hello, hello, and happy World Granny Square Day. Today is Friday, the 15th of August, 2025, and let's celebrate together. It is just after 12 noon, so we have a few hours ahead of us to complete our projects. And as you can see here, we've done 2 already. And since I last saw you, I've spent a couple of hours, so now we're 8 hours and 10 minutes into our Granny Square Tote project. So since I last saw you, I've joined 8 of the squares together. So this is the front of the bag and these are the sides. So these will go around like that. So now I need to add the construction of the base. So add them here and then the 4 at the back where we'll join to make the back here. I have no idea if that makes any sense to you, but eventually you'll see a tote bag. So I've just still connected to this little tiny one here. That's a very pretty square, I think. So I have, I think, about half a ball of the yarn left. I didn't weigh it in the beginning. I really should have done that. So I'm pretty confident, pretty sure that this will at the very least join all the squares together. Look, at a pinch, if I really need to, I could probably find some stash yarn that's very similar in color, probably the Marvel 8-ply or DK weight yarn. I'll probably find a cream if I don't have enough of the colored yarn as well, because I read the instructions and it says that we need to do 5 rows of the granny stitch all around the bag, and that's about 126, I think, from reading this, stitches per row. So we'll see how we go with that. You know, stay tuned obviously, and hopefully by end of today we'll have this bag done. Fingers and toes crossed, guys. I've got a good feeling, as long as I don't get stuck on the handles or something. Now you might be wondering, what are you doing at home, Litsa, on a Friday at 12 o'clock? Well, long story short, my eyeballs are peeling. So please pardon the, and be very kind, my a la natural look. I've just come home from my optometrist. I love Michael so much. So if you live in Sydney, go to Icon Eyewear. There's a little plug for Michael. We've been going to him for 30 years. He's amazing. So yesterday I felt that my eyes weren't feeling right and they were very sore and very sensitive to the computer. So I let my principal know today that I wasn't going in. Went to the optometrist, thankfully, because he's given me some drops. So my eyes are inflamed and they have peeled, the eyeballs. Well, why wouldn't they? So this will make them all better. So because I was having a boohoo moment, pity party for Litsa, on the way home I stopped off at Spotlight. So I'm going to share that with you. I've just walked through and I hope that you enjoyed that little journey with me. And yeah, now I'm back home. I'm going to have some lunch very, very soon and I'll get back to this bag. And I will check in at least once, maybe twice before end of day today. So enjoy your day and I'll see you very, very soon. Okay, let's go shopping in Spotlight. I'm whispering because there's other people here. Of course, I found the middle ends first, but let me tell you, the price might be okay, but there's really nothing in this one sad bin. As you can see, there's not very much in there. At the top I can see some of that green blanket yarn. That's a pretty colour. dabbled, I think it is. Not very much at all. A lot of acrylics. Some people love working with that. So not very much there at all. Now let's go around the corner. Try to keep away from people. So they've got this sparkle blankie yarn now at $12. Look at that. It was $6 not long ago. And then they have more blankie yarn for $12, save $6. But I really don't need any. And then they have this big twist plush jumbo yarn here. And some of the colours, but I did buy some of this in Millings. And I haven't really used it yet. Here's some of the Lime brand yarn. Very, very pretty, but none of this is on sale. But around here, it looks like the Hue and Me might be on sale. Let's have a look. Yes, $6.60 down from $11. That's a very pretty colour. So yeah, the Hue and Me, that's on sale. If anyone is interested. Hope I'm not giving anyone a headache. What have we got here? Some woolies. And then on this side, it doesn't seem that anything else is on sale here. We've got some Karen cakes, baby cakes, but none of this is on sale. I haven't worked with this before. This looks crazy. Velvet plus, nice and thick. I imagine it'd be a bit tricky to work with. And then there's all these tiny treasures here. I've got some of this. I've made scrunchies with it. It's very thin. None of this is on sale though. And then there's this Polar Chenille. I do have a little bit of that. I do like this, made with love, the cotton one. It's great for coasters. This one, oops, these two together make beautiful sunflower coasters. All Abbey Road yarn is on sale, so if you're a fan of the cotton, now is a good time to grab some. I really like this one here. I know my goddaughter is a huge fan, so I'll let her know. Very pretty colours. They also have wools and different fibres, but the cotton are our favourites. This hot pink. Kung Fu cotton. I haven't seen these before. They're super cute, and today they're scanning down to $15 instead of $20. So there's the coffee and donut, the drink and the popcorn, and down here there's a burger and fries. They are adorable. They're just acrylic. So if they ever go even more on special, I might give them a go. Oh, I do like these very cute nitty critters. They're the plush ones. Oh my gosh, they are so super cute and adorable. And I think they're only $12 today. I'll have another look. There's some more down there. But look at this one here. This is not a nitty critters. There's two little mermaids in there. I'll have to check that one out as well. Wow, there's more, and these are reduced from $15 down to $7 today. They're just acrylic yarn, but they are so super cute. Oh my goodness. There's even some jellyfish, and the mermaids are down to $15 today. The Four Seasons 12 ply is on sale. This is a very pretty yarn too. It's a nice thickness. It compares to the Spot Saver, and normally it's $6.50. Some pretty colours. Perfect time now to make a nice blanket while it's nice and cool still here. The all-in-one granny square yarn from Red Heart is still just hanging about. It's on special for $10, reduced down from $18. So it is now a clearance item. And I thought it would be appropriate on World Granny Square Day to actually have a look at one of these. I certainly do not need any more because I still have a bucket load at home. This is really good value. So in 50% off, $25 instead of $50, and you get this beautiful box. Let me show you one of them here. So there are 2, 4, 6, 8 balls of cotton in there. That's pretty good. It's a starter kit. Some very pretty colours in there. Look at this box. Now this one, I have to say, is very tempting. This is the last of the Draper James yarn. It was 3 balls for $10. Look at this one, that's empty, but now it's $8 a ball for all the different varieties. There's cottons and there's wool and acrylic blends, but there's definitely not very much left. Look what I found. These are back up to $20. I only paid $5. What a bargain that was. Right, here's a taste for all our Halloween lovers. I'll just walk across. There is so much choice here. Might be a, ooh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Might be a good time for you to come shopping, although they do put them on sale regularly. Oh my goodness, this is not coming home with me. Definitely not. The dress-ups and other decorations for the home. They're pretty cool. Oh, I really like this. Maybe next time. Spotlight hit the spot today. Some retail therapy without any money spent. First time in the history, I think, but it's just what I needed. So until next time. What did you think of all those Halloween decorations in Spotlight? Oh my goodness, before we know it, we're going to have Christmas decorations everywhere. Anyway, back to the job on hand or at task. The Granny Square tote bag, we're 9 hours and 24 minutes in. I have joined all the squares together and we have what's looking like a bag. Pretty good, right? There's the bottom. So the yarn has definitely won at Yarn Chicken. I almost made a whole row around before I ran out of yarn, and that's why I need to connect it to make the first round of the granny clusters. Now, this pattern has really dropped the ball, I have to tell you, and this little kit as well. It's not horrible, but let's just state the facts. Terrible instructions. If you've never made anything where you've joined squares before in where they meet, here, the joins, you won't know that you have to do a double crochet, US terminology, and then 2 double crochet cluster to form 1 stitch. So the second stitch of the 3 in the cluster, and then 1 double crochet over those where they join, the 2 join together. So their stitch count is all over the place. I don't put in the chains, so I don't count that. That's on me. I've chosen to do it that way, but that has really let people down, I think, if you're a beginner. But if you've made some projects, you should be okay. The fact that there's not enough yarn to go around to do the border, let alone the straps, because I've read the instructions and it tells you that for the straps you need to hold 2 strands together. So luckily I have enough in my yarn stash, yarn, to finish the project, but in saying that, it's so hard to color match, let alone the yarn. And I don't believe that this yarn is cotton. It feels so much more like an acrylic. Maybe it's that milk cotton that people talk about. I haven't actually ever bought any. So I went to all of my Marvel 8-ply yarn, and I have boxes and boxes of it, and I could not color match. And then thankfully in my spot saver from my very old stash, the USA style, I have 1 ball of the cream left, and this is as good as it's going to get, guys. So let me hold these 2 together for you. The spot saver, which is the top one, is slightly thicker and slightly more off-white or creamier, but that's okay. I'm going to make this work. And at least I have enough to go around for 1 more round of granny square clusters, and then 3 rounds of just single crochet. Beg your pardon, double crochet in every double crochet in the cluster, and then make the handles using this double-stranded. So I think that the next time I see you, this project will be finished. It's now about 2:30 in the afternoon. I might have an afternoon tea break or another coffee break, something like that. And then I'll get cracking on this because I really want to finish it on World Granny Square Day and put a little, summary at the end of this for us, a little conclusion of what we think these kits are like, but what a great opportunity to trial them today, of all days, World Granny Square Day. So I'll be back very, very soon with hopefully a finished tote bag. Yay, I am so excited to report that I finished the Granny Square tote, and here it is, guys. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Now, before we go over the tote, let me show you the time that we finished on. 10 hours and 7 minutes. That's a long time, isn't it? Let me pop this down for now, and let's chat about the tote before we round this vlog up. Okay, so this tote used pretty much all the yarn in the pack. There's only a little bit left of each color. Thankfully, the Spot Saver USA style yarn that I had left to that I had to dip into to use because, I lost that yarn chicken, is so close to the color scheme of the whole bag that I think it blends in beautifully. So that's where the yarn in the kit finished, and that's the Spot Saver. It is very, very similar in weight, and I absolutely love it. Now, the way that I double-stranded it, I have mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. If you've only got 1 ball of the color that you need, all you need to do is pull from the center and from the outside and just hold them together, and you have your double strands there. So don't ever fret or panic if you only have 1 ball and you need to use 2 strands together. So I did use that to finish the 2nd row of the granny stitch, and then 3 rows of double crochets. And for the handle, I simply double stranded, as we said, and just did single crochets, 100 chain, a chain of 100, single crochets, a chain of 100. Perhaps I should go back and do single crochets, I thought, because the weight of whatever is in here might drag it down a little bit. But we'll leave this as it is for now. I have, as you can see, used the stitch markers, the ones that actually came in the pack, to mark off where I was going to put my handles, so I had a nice guide. Basically, I measured my stitches and eyeballed a couple of them, and then made sure that in between each section I had the same amount of stitches, so that worked out really well. But I actually really do like this tote. So there it is there. Now, in conclusion, I'm not sure how to summarize all this, but for the kits, I'd like to say this. First of all, the yarn that came with the packs, all of them, I don't think it's cotton. It might be that milk cotton, but that's only me guessing. The hooks that came in them, I think are actually really good. Considering, they've come in kits that cost $6, $8, and $10. When I used them with my Spot Saver, there was no splitting. So the yarn was a bit splitty. But that's okay, for the amount of money that you pay for the kits. So the hooks are really, really good. The stitch markers are great. And the darning needles, I'll be able to use them in the future with thicker yarn, because the eye was too thick for the stitches that are made with these little hooks, because we used a 2.5mm hook and a 3mm hook. Now, let's just go back and remind ourselves that the granny square scarf here, that was in total 2 hours and 10 minutes, which is quite reasonable, really. They were little granny squares, but I thought that was, you know, not a bad amount of time. Now, the one that I thought was way too much time is the scarf, and that was 8 hours and 10 minutes. Now, I would have gladly done a couple more of these squares. It asked you to make 12. I made 11 in total because of the pattern that I did for my colors. I would have gladly done a few more because there was extra yarn and made another tote bag. So another couple of hours and I could have made another tote bag. But for the scarf, as we said, 8 hours and 10 minutes. And the granny square tote, as we've just mentioned, was 10 hours and 7 minutes. So in total, over the last 6 days, because we started our World Granny Square Day Challenge on Sunday and today's Friday, it was a total of 20 hours and 27 minutes, pretty much there. So let's say 20.5 hours of crochet time broken up over those 6 days. It has been a lot of fun going on this journey with you, and what a great way to honour World Granny Square Day. Now, my question to you is this. Do you enjoy crocheting granny squares? Not just the traditional, you know, looking granny square like this, which is obviously a favourite, I think, of most of us, but any type of granny square project. And if so, what's your favourite granny square project that you've crocheted? And did you crochet one for World Granny Square Days? Well, that's more than one question, isn't it? But feel free to answer one or all of them. I would love to know, and I'm sure everybody else would like to as well. So that's it, guys. That's a wrap. Tick, done and dusted. World Granny Square Day 2025. That's a wrap. So thank you so much for coming along this journey with me. I can put all of this away now and start on something new. So until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.